This video is narrated by Melissa, Jared, Brianna, and Harry.
Should more college students be concerned about the minimum wage if it does not go up? In her article, Raising Minimum Wage Good for Students, Felicia Proctor states that the federal minimum wage is an issue that should be of particular concern to college students. Many students rely on part-time or full-time minimum wage jobs to help them with bills, books, fees, and tuition. Upon graduation, we are expected to begin a career in the area that we studied. Unfortunately, that is not always the case. This can relate to the article Women's Labor and Activism in the Greater Borderlands by Sonia Hernandez, because during the Mexican Revolution, Mexican women living in the U.S. were not being paid fairly or enough in their jobs and found it very difficult to live on their wages. By raising the minimum wage, it will benefit college students while they're studying as well as students who have just graduated and can't find a job position in their desired career.
According to www.rdwolf.com, keeping grades up, squeezing in extracurricular activities while holding a job is a challenge that many students face. Jackie Tempera, a college student, said she's worried because she needs to pay school tuition, gas, food, and other expenses. But there is not enough time to fit all in. Raising the minimum wage would help her and many other students to pay tuition, other expenses, and to not have a large amount of student loans debt. I'm going along with raising minimum wage because student loans leave you with a huge debt that take a long time to pay it off. Also, raising minimum wage would help to pay for food, which is an important necessity to have. Furthermore, $15 per hour would be helpful by working less hours for more money, giving you more time to spend on school and extracurricular activities. This reminded me to the financial crisis in 1930 to 1933. People of low income lost everything because they couldn't afford either their necessities, bills, school, etc., leading them into a huge debt and finally into bankruptcy.
Why raise the minimum wage, especially for college students not making enough? From the article With Minimum Wage Hike, College Students See More Change. Minimum wage workers tend to be really young. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, although workers under age 25 represent only 20% of hourly paid workers. With such low income and not all states raising their minimum wage, we can say not many students are enjoying not only studying for what they want, but being able to afford little things. This relates to labor radicalization because not only are we trying to come together to get better wages, we want a future for ourselves and not being stuck at a retail job or fast food and continue to make barely what we can afford to live. Ending with the quote, we believe that people who work hard for a living should make enough to support themselves, their families, and their neighborhoods, and that workers should be treated with dignity and respect. And this is why I believe minimum wage should be raised to $15.
I believe we should raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. My research question was how much you need to work to cover tuition from the past versus now. In the article, How Much You Need to Work to Cover Tuition in 1978 versus 2014 by Moreno Jerez, says it is now a point where a student would have to work full-time minimum wage job for almost the entire calendar year to afford the average $14,000 per year tuition, which means it's nearly impossible for any college student to attend a four-year school without taking out student loans. It is pointed out that a student who worked a minimum wage summer job in 1978 could afford to pay their full year's college tuition without taking loans. This relates to the course concept of labor unions. Just like back then when workers banded together to create job fairness, minimum wages, and a safe environment to work in. In the long run, raising the minimum wage will help everybody live a better and comfortable life.